Well, in the last hour, I spoke with the Energy and Climate Change Minister, Chris Bowen, who defended the government's record on energy and said the last couple of hot days did not represent a risk to the security of supply or electricity. Let's go to our business editor, Ross Greenwood, now. He was watching the energy market and has been for the last few days. He joins me now. Ross, good to see you. Now, Chris Bowen says batteries helped save the energy grid, especially in New South Wales during this hot spell of weather. But you say the data shows something quite different. As I put to him, the only reason we're keeping the lights on is because of coal right now.
That is precisely right, and it is important to recognise that coal is still the most significant way in which energy is generated across Australia, the East Coast in particular, and certainly in New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria. But let's just pick up what Chris Bowen had to say, and when we do that, you'll sort of see his sense that maybe batteries were very important over these past few days.
What the Chief Executive of AEMO told me yesterday was that batteries were essential for getting New South Wales through yesterday, that batteries played a very big role yesterday. Now, we have more coming on. You know, the Waratah battery, big ones are coming on. They're coming on over the next year or so.
So, Laura, I just want to pick that up, though, because the stats, and let's go to this. Cam Redden picked it up a little bit earlier as well, but we can show you exactly what it looked like. So this is the mix of energy. This is over the past 24 hours in New South Wales, because he mentioned specifically New South Wales. You can see during that time that the batteries are so negligent that it represents 0% of the amount of energy generated. Now, it wasn't actually zero, but look at coal there. Coal is the vast majority of what's going on. Now, coal-fired power stations are coming out, and it is true to say that because coal-fired power stations were out, not only through planned outages, but unplanned outages because they're older and unreliable. So here is actually the breakdown as to what we saw over the past 24 hours. Batteries, 150 megawatt hours versus coal, 5,199. Hydro played a very big part, 2,000 megawatt hours. But then wind and solar, surprisingly. Now, there were times when solar was much more important during this, but wind especially was also very important. Gas also, those peakers came in to provide the extra energy. But just when you look at that, what it shows you is this notion that somehow batteries right now are saving the day is completely and utterly spurious, I'd have to say.
All right, well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He said he spoke to the AEMO boss about batteries actually saving the day, and this could be important during summer. So perhaps it's not those big industrial batteries that he's talking about. Maybe it's household batteries, Ross.
Maybe it is, and maybe that is an answer. So the one thing about this is, though, that the AEMO and certainly Chris Bowen don't even know that. And the reason is because those batteries are not plugged into the grid. Now, what they're trying to do is now change the national energy market so that those things can be brought in. So in the future, and this makes a bit of sense, if there is a day like the past couple of days in Queensland and New South Wales where energy is becoming short, maybe you could actually pay people to take energy out of their batteries or out of their cars potentially in the future. But right now, that's not the system that we currently have. And yes, people can feed back into the grid off their rooftop solar if they want to, or out of their batteries, and maybe they get paid. They get paid a whole bunch less than what they used to because there's generally too much rooftop solar. But that is an answer. But the reality is, until they make these changes, they don't exactly know. And so, as I say, do not be under any misillusion that batteries somehow are saving Australia, because that is simply not the case. It is coal, it is wind, it is solar right now, and gas that are really doing the heavy lifting in regards to Australia's energy usage. And let's be honest here, really, Laura, is this any way that any country should be running business, should be running anything in regards to wondering whether there's actually enough energy out there?
Yep, that is completely right. A point that I put to Chris Bowen as well, wanting to just talk about reliability and price, because I think a lot of people, when they get their energy bills, are feeling really gaslit by the government. The government, including Chris Bowen, keeps on saying renewables are the cheapest form of energy. Well, they're not right now. And they're relying on technology that hasn't evolved, and batteries. I mean, it could even be green hydrogen. Well, ask Origin and Twiggy Forrest how those things are going, right?
Well, that's right. And then there's a second part about this, is understand that right now, one of our biggest energy users is BlueScope Steel. Now, BlueScope Steel is right now investing most of its money, spare capital, into its American operations. Why? Because the energy prices there are between a third and half of what they are in Australia. And guess what? There's never any suggestion of outages like there were yesterday. It's always on. And so from that point of view, you're going to find that more companies, and particular big data centres, we need more energy for artificial intelligence and the data centres that will actually support that. And so those companies are going to invest their money into other parts of the world where there is cheap and reliable energy. Now, this fallacy that Australia somehow, we're wonderful and we're just going to get through this, it's nonsense. We need the energy generation and we need the reliability of the energy generation, and batteries do not cut it in regards to providing grid-scale energy and electricity to our big industrial users. And that's the reason why aluminium smelters like Tomago are considering leaving Australia, simply because it's not commercially viable to operate those businesses here in Australia.
Yeah, right. Price is a whole other thing, and whether that $275 is still going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's on 2021 levels when they promised it, when the Ukraine war was already raging, when they knew about the inflation story, and they knew about the 10 years, as they put it, of government inaction. But anyway, I digress. We're going to speak to Tony Wood about that in just a second. But Ross, there is some other business news around today. The Star's annual meeting is today, and the shares are now close to a record low. It's going to be a pretty grim meeting.
It is going to be incredibly grim for them, because remember, they've come through all of the problems in regards to trying to hang on to their licence. They got a new chief executive, Steve McCann, who had previously been with Crown. But then the next part about it is the lenders. The lenders have had to stump up all of this money for the Queen's Wharf development in Queensland. And then you've had a collapse in gambling levels in Australia because of not only new regulation, but then also because, to be honest, just discretionary consumer spending is way down in this country right now. Here's the Star. Have a look at the shares, down by 57% in 1 year. At one stage, this business was worth more than $11 billion. Right now, with it tumbling down to about 21 cents, that business is actually worth just $600 million. Now, it's either the greatest steal in the world, the Star, or it is actually a basket case. Because if these lenders really do get very grumpy and try and take control of the business, send it into some form of administration or liquidation, that again will be a new world of pain for those shareholders of the Star who are very much long suffering.
All right, what about the rest of the share market today? How's that started?
Quick look at the ASX 200 now, and what we can tell you is the ASX 200 has again opened strong at record levels, up 0.5%, 84.49. So even our economy is really just treadling along the bottom. The stock market continues to be incredibly strong. Here's the Aussie dollar, picked up just a little touch, just under 65 US cents as we speak.
Lovely, Ross. Great to see you.